keep bringing you in. There are all these moving parts. There are legitimate concerns. There's the Sheikh Hasina issue that Mohammed pointed out. India's, one section of India's view is that this is not just some kind of organic anger by youth in Bangladesh. They've been weaponized, by the real power centers behind the scenes, who are, as Ambassador Sikri said, Islamists, who are openly hosting and flirting with genuine terrorist entities. So there is nothing kosher about what is going on. The question now is, we understand what's going on. What happens next? Because as Mohammed said, there is one section where there is a sentiment that has to be addressed as far as Sheikh Hasina is concerned. But what about all these threats and violence?
Look, these threats and violence just prove that the situation is simply not stable enough or legitimate enough for Sheikh Hasina to be sent back. Remember how the courts were fiddled with the moment this so-called, basically a street coup, which they want to call a revolution, happened. Thugs taking over government, threatening judges, removing them, releasing convicted terrorists, known terrorists, people who had taken part in the genocide of the Bangladeshi people themselves. All kinds of people like that were released. We should remember these people out on the streets that you're showing visuals of. They belong to a party of Razakars. These were the people who collaborated with the Pakistanis in killing their own people. Never forget that. So let us be very clear what is happening in Bangladesh. First, Sheikh Hasina will not be sent back to this puppet joke of a regime that is happening out there. It is not going to happen, full stop. Remember, this is a regime that went on trying not to hold elections. They want reform, reform, reform. What reform has this man done? Nothing. He wasn't even willing to hold elections till the army chief essentially put a gun to his head and forced him to call elections. Then what has this man done? He is now trying to create the classic strategy of all dictators who are losing power, a strategy of perpetual tension. He wants to aggravate the situation on the streets that forces the army out, lets him play martyr. He knows he is going to get convicted for all the misdeeds of his government in the last 1.5, 2 years. He doesn't want that. He wants political asylum. He wants the army out on the street. These are all very carefully calibrated to bring the army out on the street in some form or the other. The army, for its part, wants to avoid that. Unlike the Pakistan army, which goes around creating coups, goes on creating tension so that they can take over, the Bangladesh army is very carefully avoiding that. They're very carefully avoiding interfering in politics. They want, essentially, what Muhammad Yunus wants is some kind of a situation which gets blamed also on the Awami League, so that now the thing is the Awami League is not going to contest the elections apparently. They will be contesting as independent. We all know exactly what's going to happen there, like happened with the Pakistan elections, where so-called independents who were actually PTI fellows were winning the election till the coverage was stopped at night, and then suddenly, the other two parties won. They're trying some kind of a game book like that out here as well.
Okay.
Let's see where this leads. I think the biggest trap that's being laid here is for the Bangladesh army. I think the Bangladesh army itself knows what is up. Muhammad Yunus is playing with fire. Let's see what happens.